The kind of government a nation has is incredibly important. It shapes the lives of its citizens, influencing their freedoms, rights, and opportunities. In America, the form of government chosen by our founders was not an accident. It was a deliberate choice designed to protect individual liberty and ensure lasting freedom. Understanding the structure of American governance is essential to safeguarding the very principles upon which our nation was built. The founders understood that different forms of government had different strengths and weaknesses. They had seen firsthand the dangers of unchecked power and the tyranny of the majority. Their experiences led them to create a system that balanced the need for effective governance with the essential protection of individual rights. This balance is not automatic. It requires constant vigilance and a commitment to the principles enshrined in our founding documents. As citizens, we have a responsibility to understand and uphold these principles, ensuring that our government remains a force for good and a guarantor of liberty for generations to come. Many people today use the terms republic and democracy interchangeably, but the founders of the United States drew a clear distinction between the two. They intentionally established a constitutional republic, not a pure democracy, to safeguard against the potential pitfalls of majority rule. James Madison, often called the father of the Constitution, wrote extensively about the dangers of what he termed factions. In Federalist No. 10, he warned against the possibility of a majority faction trampling on the rights of the minority in a pure democracy. To prevent this, the founders created a system of government where power is divided and limited. The Constitution, our nation's guiding document, lays out a framework for a government of laws, not of men. It establishes a system of checks and balances between the different branches of government and ensures that the rights of individuals are protected, even when they are held by a minority. This careful design distinguishes the United States from a pure democracy, where the will of the majority holds absolute sway. By establishing a constitutional republic, the founders sought to ensure that the rights of all citizens would be protected, regardless of their popularity or political persuasion. At the heart of the distinction between a republic and a democracy lies the concept of the rule of law versus the rule of the majority. In a pure democracy, the majority's will, even if it infringes upon the rights of others, typically prevails. A republic, however, operates under the principle of the rule of law, meaning that even the government itself is subject to a predetermined set of rules and principles enshrined in the Constitution. Imagine a scenario where a majority vote decides to impose a new tax solely on people with a specific eye color. In a pure democracy, this action might be permissible. However, in a constitutional republic like the United States, such a law would be struck down because it violates the fundamental rights and equality guaranteed to all citizens by the Constitution. This example illustrates the crucial difference between the two systems. While a democracy can be vulnerable to the whims of the majority, a republic provides a stable framework that protects individual rights and ensures that the government's power is limited and exercised justly. The Constitution acts as a safeguard against tyranny, ensuring that the rights of all citizens are protected, regardless of whether they belong to the majority or the minority. This principle of the rule of law is fundamental to the American system of government, and is essential to understanding the difference between a republic and a democracy. The genius of the American Republic lies in its ability to both empower the people and protect them from the potential tyranny of the majority. This protection is enshrined in the Constitution, particularly in the Bill of Rights, which explicitly outlines the fundamental rights and freedoms of every American citizen. The Bill of Rights is not simply a list of suggestions or aspirations, it is a legally binding document that restricts the government's power and guarantees individual liberties. This means that no matter how popular a certain policy might be or how many people support it, the government cannot infringe upon the rights protected by the Constitution. For example, the First Amendment guarantees freedom of speech, religion, the press, assembly, and the right to petition the government. This means that even if a majority of people disagree with a particular viewpoint, the government cannot silence it. This system of protected rights is a cornerstone of the American Republic and is essential to preserving individual liberty. By limiting the power of the government and upholding the supremacy of the Constitution, the founders created a system designed to safeguard freedom for generations to come.